But I want to spend the first maybe 5 minutes just going through a topic, giving you a tool for your toolbox that's going to help you in your leadership. Now, one of the things that I love as a leader is to organize all the things I'm learning into my brain in different compartments or different buckets. So there are 3 buckets I like to teach out of. If you're taking notes, I would write this down. The first bucket is our presence, which is very important. How we show up is very important, how others experience us. The second bucket is our processes. How do we prioritize what we're doing to make sure we're focusing on the most important things? So our presence, our processes, and number 3 is our people skills. As you grow in leadership, you've got to develop your interpersonal skills. You've got to be better with people. So presence, processes, people skills. I hope you wrote those down. Today we're going to focus our lightning round on people skills. I want to give you a tool to help you with effective communication. Okay, you ready to go? You ready to dive into this? Okay, so here is our teaching portion for you to take notes and then bring it into your discussion. All right, for that, I want to set you up with this thought. As a leader, you have to have a clear and concise message. I want you to think about a time when you went to communicate something and it didn't go well. Maybe you were asking someone to do one thing and they did another. Maybe you were saying one thing and they heard something else. Just take a minute, think of a key word to remind yourself, write it down on your paper of a time that it didn't go well. Now, I'm going to give you this tool for your toolbox, and then we're going to filter that scenario through this tool to find out what we could have done better. Okay, here we go. This tool is called the Know, Feel, Do model. Very popular in the communication realm, but I didn't learn it till much later in my leadership journey. I wish I would have learned it earlier. So here it is for you. The first thing that I want to think about as I'm communicating something to somebody is, what do I want them to know? What do I want them to know? You know, communication is about transferring knowledge. Either they're bringing something to me in the conversation, or I'm bringing something to them in the conversation that I want them to leave with, or that they want me to leave with. So we have to ask ourselves, when I go to give a clear and concise message, what do I want them to know? The second question is, how do I want them to feel? A lot of times we spend so much time on planning our words to make sure we say the exact right thing, but we often overlook how we want them to feel. And that is important, because when they leave the conversation 2 weeks later, they're not really going to remember what you said, but I promise they'll remember how you made them feel. So what if we gave a little forethought into how we wanted them to feel? And number 3 is, what do we want them to do? How should they respond to the communication? This is something that often gets lost, because you tell them what you want them to know. You might think about their feelings beforehand, but you're not clear on the action they need to take. So they're not clear on the action they need to take, and then it doesn't get done. So I want you to imagine you walk into a crucial conversation, and before you have that conversation, you have these thoughts. What do I want them to know? How do I want them to feel? And what do I want them to do? And you plan your communication so you have a clear and concise message that helps them move in the right direction. Now, one more thing before we jump into our discussion today is, I want you to remember, it's not like every conversation you're going to be able to think through this model. I'm not telling you that's going to be possible, because I know you all work in a very fast-paced industry. But what I am telling you is, almost every conversation you should reflect on, did I hit these 3 different areas? Did they leave the conversation knowing what I wanted them to know? Did they feel the way that I wanted them to feel? And are they taking action and doing what I wanted them to do? So here's your discussion question. How could you have used the Know, Feel, Do model to communicate your message more effectively? How could you have done that? Think about how the conversation went and how it could have went if you would have used this model. I want you to just discuss some of the things that would have been different. Okay, we'll take 5 minutes, think through it, and then we'll discuss it together.